What's up, everybody? We are going live. It is Monday, June 13th, 2016, and let's talk a little bit about what's going on. I call today the eeriness. It's eerie out there. Actually, I had to go to Chase Bank. That's where I bank. My card stopped working, right? So I'm at the bank, and already I'm feeling the energy of Neptune going retrograde, right? Just like feeling this just eerie stillness in the air. And I asked the lady, who probably knows nothing about astrology, I'm like, hey, so how is your foggy, Monday going? And she goes, that's exactly how I would describe it. I feel like I'm in a dream. So I pulled out my card, I showed her what I do, and she really didn't believe me. And then I'm like, here, look at my card. It says the Leo King Incorporated. This is what I do. Like, you want to look up my corporation or whatever? Look it up. I really do astrology. And she's blown away. She couldn't believe it that I was able to just say, hey, yo, how's your, eerie, foggy Monday going? And the energy is eerie. I actually want to bring up last year. So actually, it might sound crazy, but exactly a year ago, not to the day, but we're about 2 days, 1 day away, is exactly when Neptune retrograded last. And when Neptune retrograded last year, Mercury went direct. So it was like a swap. It was like Neptune went retrograde, and then Mercury went direct in Gemini. And that was like really destabilizing of the mental realms, plus the sun was in Gemini then, and we're kind of tapped into this, although this one's a little bit easier. This one's not so hard, because Mercury, even though it has arrived in Gemini, it's gone through its retrograde, it gets to fly through, it's at its fastest speed right now, and it's going to get a little weird this week. Mercury's about to get ready to come into a major T-square with Jupiter. Actually, it's going to create a cross with Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune. But last year was harder because Mercury went retrograde in Gemini, and it squared Neptune right before it went direct. So this time last year, what was going on in your life? And how was that eeriness and how was that confusion affecting you? And are you facing that now? Like, are you facing that now? Are you really kind of looking at how that affected you now? And maybe there's some ghosts from the past, because 1 week after Neptune went retrograde, or when Neptune went retrograde last year, Saturn went back into Scorpio. So we're kind of seeing these reoccurring themes, right? We're seeing this coming back into Scorpio with Mars. Last year it was Saturn. Reoccurring themes of Mercury when it was in Gemini and its home while the sun was in Gemini, and Neptune retrograding at the same time. So we have swapped into a confusing world now, because the sun in Gemini, Mercury in Gemini, all this energy, wanting to figure things out, wanting to understand things, yet the power of Neptune in its home of Pisces, the power of confusion, the power of really kind of driftiness has come into play. I need to find like a better place to sit down, because my arm hurts. I'm such a little wimp. I'm like, my arm hurts from holding the thing. And I'm at home today. I'm not at the studio because I worked literally all day yesterday. I don't want to talk too much about what happened this weekend in Orlando. I don't think it's right, even though I do astro gossip stuff, and some people are upset that I'm doing that show. I don't want to get into that with the astrology. I just think that we should send love and prayers out there. And even though it's a crazy event, there's just some things that happen that, you can analyze it from an astrological point of view as much as you can, but things happen, and I think that there's just some things that, we got to just send love to it. And I think maybe later we can look at it and see what happened. But I think while it's going on and while people are affected, this is not a time to maybe, and especially based off the astrology right now, this is not a time for exact answers, even though we want them really bad. You know what I mean? This is not a time where the answers come out. So I think finding compassion and finding and finding ease with not knowing the answers right now in all aspects of your life, including major events that are happening in the world, is where things are at right now. So I don't like to use the example of what's going on in Orlando, but see how that is even impacting your life as, well, how did this happen? Where are you at a place in your life right now where you're like, how is this happening? How is this all going down the way that it's going down right now? Because I think there's a lot of like, wow, I don't get this. I don't get what's going on in this department. You got to find out where Neptune is in your chart. You really got to focus on that. You really got to focus on Jupiter. You really got to focus on Saturn. Where are these three planets focused on? Where are they pointing to? Where are they pointing to? I think that's a very important aspect. Where are they pointing to? Oh, thanks, Rick. That's really nice of you. It's nice to see you in here, too. You had some good reports out recently. I was just watching, actually, on YouTube yesterday. I actually watched your video about the tarot, how you write your horoscopes. I think that was yesterday. So cheers to you, buddy. Good to see you in here. But, yeah, weird time. But the good news, this isn't as rough as last year. Last year's Mercury and Neptune aspects was really hard. And because Mercury conjuncted the sun last year while it squared Neptune, that was really hard. I think that happened like June. That was like the first week of June. And then literally it was June 11th, Neptune went retrograde, all while Mercury went direct in Gemini. It was too many weird levers pulling. This one, so much easier to deal with, but still it allows you to see where you lose yourself. Remember, the South Node is as well hanging out over here in Pisces. So there is this like focused zone of a lot of karmic clearing, a lot of really deep, sensitive, emotional stuff that you have to really pay attention to in your life. That I call it the underbelly. You know, it's like the underbelly of the underbelly. Look at my belly there. The underbelly of like the crocodile. You know what I mean? Like crocodile's all tough and rough on the top, right? But underneath that croc, you know, pretty simple. You could just, you know, you could kick it and it'd be good. Or Houdini's a good example. Houdini died from a punch to the stomach, you know, and he actually used to be able to handle all that. But, you know, Pisces is a punch to the stomach. Ooh, it's a punch to your sensitive most spot, especially because Chiron's there, so it makes it ultra sensitive. And how funny this week, we've got the sun, we've got Uranus making a nice sextile, so that's exciting. But this square to Chiron, this Neptune retrograde, kind of overshadows this excitement in the air. There's exciting things going on, but there's this huge cloud over your mind, your head, your soul that you got to work through. So realize that heaven is above. Uranus rules heaven, right? Okay? Heaven is there in your life, and it's really about how you mentally get through the clouds right now to heaven, how you mentally get through the fog, the weirdness, the craziness to get there. That's the secret right now. Venus is squaring Chiron. Venus square Chiron, I'm going to be honest, I'm so glad I was not born with that one. Even though I am a Venus square Saturn person, I would take Venus square Saturn over Venus square Chiron. Because Venus square Chiron is like, oh man, it just doesn't work out for me. Oh, especially in Pisces, like, or this isn't being created, or, you know, it's like delusional. It's delusional thoughts about your relationship and creation aspects. It's like, oh, this isn't going to work out. It's like, well, So what they didn't buy something today? It's like, you're not going to go out of business. Relax. So what you sent a text to that girl and she didn't write you back? Doesn't mean it's over. Like, this is a time where people got to really watch delusional mind, delusional thoughts, and see that there's this beautiful heaven. There's all these exciting doors connecting to each other right now. There's so many good, positive things right now. And that's the yod, right? The sun, Venus, sextile Uranus in a perfect sextile, 60 degrees. And what is at that nice point? Mars retrograde in Scorpio. And when you have a yod with Sun, Uranus, Mars, it really is about going deeper inside and facing your fears. But more importantly, I think what this is saying is to get to heaven right now and to get to the excitement, you've got to learn to clear the past, clear the old ghosts, clear the things that just get in the way and block you of your passions. And maybe this means that you have to actually cut away certain things that are in the way of your passion or in the way of getting you what you want. Sometimes it's hard because Scorpio really gets to the bottom of, this is what I like and this is what I don't. It's like you could have two people in front of you and at the end of the day, Scorpio is going to be like, well, I like both of them, but that one to the left has the nicer rear end. Of course, I'm going to talk. Some of the ladies aren't going to like that, but that's just Scorpio. Mars and Scorpio. I'm born with Mars and Scorpio. It's very primitive. It's very sexual. Use your root chakra now to define what's worth your time and what is going to achieve your heaven and make you happy and make you excited and make you get out of delusional thought and make you get out of sensitivities. Use that Mars energy as it retrogrades, as it goes to the deepest part of who you are, to the deepest core of who you are, to really 100% go, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? Why am I wasting my time on this? This is what I want. This is where I want to go. This is going to take me there. I'm born with 3 yods in my chart. So you can fuck the Leo King. You can call me the Yod King. How about that, okay? The Yod King. Yods are not easy. They're really not. They're probably one of the weirdest forms, but they are a finger of God. And this is a moment where God is pointing. God is giving us a finger point. And it literally is to this Mars retrograde. And Mars is trining to Chiron right now. So there is this excitement of that there is massive healing through following your root. We usually get told in spirituality, like, don't follow your root chakra. Only follow your, whatever. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm not a big chakra person. I'm not very big. I'm like the old school, like if I was a spiritual dude, I'd be like the old school whiskey drinking, although I drink Sprite instead, I drink GMO. I'm like the GMO drinking spiritual guy, it's like, we can talk chakras all you want, but they just define different parts of ourselves. Instead of like following this more higher guidance right now, that is offline. Higher guidance is kind of delusional, and mental guidance is kind of all off. The GPS is a little off right now. So kind of interesting that the Uranian, the Sun, and the Mars aspects are connecting during this crazy wild storm we're in. And those are much more, well, actually, you want to know what's funny? All 3 represent the fire signs. Sun rules Leo. Uranus rules, well, not fire. Aquarius rules air, but Mars and the Sun are fire, and then we got this Uranian air, but Uranus is in Aries. So there's a lot more of this fiery, definite, what you want, desire, fixed sign element, Actually, because Mars does rule Scorpio, it is a fixed sign. That's what I really meant to say. It is all fixed sign energy, so all 3 planets are fixed. Follow what you desire, what you want the most right now, and get through the crazy distractions and elements that are flying around all over the place, because that will keep you through the craziness right now. And follow that. Don't be afraid to follow that. We get taught like, oh, you can't, you shouldn't do this. And remember, the Sun and Venus are at this really unique position right now, which Venus has passed the Sun And we've had this shift in the last week of really redefining relationships, re-looking at the things that we really want to create in our life. And so, especially because it's in Gemini, this is like us kind of shifting roles of who we are, shifting roles in relationships, the kind of relationships we want. And now Mars is being aspected with this big yacht. It's like, okay, now like jam it in there. Like, I think it's almost like we've changed as people in the last week, but we haven't really like jammed it in hard. We haven't like tested it out. It's like, I just lifted my truck. It's like, the lift happened, right? But I haven't taken it out in the mud yet. Now it's time to go take it out in the mud, and that's kind of like the time. And it's really, you feel the power of Neptune on a day like today. You're just like, whoa, like driving, and then, I was driving and I'm like, I just feel like at any moment I could just blank out of here, just like leave this reality, or is this real or is it not? So I hope that helps everybody. So, what up, Kevin? How you doing, Furley? What was I going to say? Let's go outside for a second. Oh, little Cali love, Oh, so much better. Sometimes it's harder to think inside. It's a little bit easier to think outside. It's funny, I don't know how much of a delay there is, but now I'm hearing about the mud in the truck. When I talked about that like a minute ago. But of course, tomorrow I'm going to be filming the uncut, so we're going to talk way more about what's going on here. But I just wanted to give everybody a little bit of a Monday sermon, especially because today was the Neptune retrograde, and I don't get to talk. I only get 15 minutes, so I pick the highlights in my weekly, YouTube and app version. This kind of allows me to talk about the behind the scenes, the last year, the 2015 stuff that I wanted to talk about. And I think that stuff's important to talk about because there's a lot of connections to, especially just following the sun and Venus, but more important than that, just always just following the sun. At this time last year, Neptune was retrograding as well, and Mercury was going direct, and it was in Gemini. So, how are you confronting issues that you were dealing with exactly this time last year? And are you ready to just kind of hunker down and go towards what you want instead of getting lost in the what's and the ifs and the what's going on and trying to find every answer? Just keep barreling through, Mars in Scorpio is so strong because it just goes for the orgasm, right? It just goes for the thing it wants. But the difficult part is right now with all this energy, with the sun, Uranus, and especially with the sun in Gemini, it's like we want answers, we want questions answered. And with Neptune retrograde, there's this mass confusion storm. So it's like it's building up like a computer that keeps building up more and more and more programs to load that can't figure it out. The processor's overloading. The heat on the computer is about to burst. So why don't you just focus on, what you want to do right now in your life and just go for that, not use your head, not try to find the answers, just go for it. Just go for the thing you want. Just go for the things you desire, and it'll get you there. And the answers will be figured out later, basically. Like, just go for more of that primitive thing. Like, you don't go down on a girl and be like, so does that feel good? Like, that's like lesson 101 in like how to like seduce a woman. You don't ask her, you're a master if you can do it without asking. Like, you should be able to hear it and be like, oh, it's not going right. Or you should be able to hear it and be like, it's going perfect. And I think that that's kind of the exact thing to pay attention to right now is like, why are you looking for reassurance right now from the universe with some sort of answer of like, yes, it feels good, or yes, this is going on, or yes, this is going to happen, when really you know it all is if you just go for it, and if you just devour and go and take this like fully and just go for it and just use your masculine aspect and really dig to the bottom of what you really want, you've got it. It's this wanting to have the answer, you know. It's like, is that good? Does that feel good? Da-da-da-da. It's like, if you're one of those guys, or, you know, as a woman, right, like, you're probably doing the same thing in your life. Maybe most women sometimes will do it to a guy, you know, like a woman will look up at you and be like, does that feel good? It's like, well, I don't know. Like, if you're biting it, maybe it doesn't feel good, and you'll know. I'll scream and I'll be like, that doesn't feel good. You know what I mean? Like I can't describe it any better. That's why Scorpio is like a hidden message in a way. Like, it's an intuitive feeling. Like, you connect. And so is Pisces. Like, this is a time, like, you're not going to be able to figure it all out right now. And there's way too many things going on. There's a lot of exciting things happening. But it's at a time where we have to face all of our victim roles, all of our unsureties, all of our doubts, all of our fears. And that's kind of where it's at. So anyway, I hope to see you all in July 22nd to the 24th. 1-day tickets available, 3-day tickets available, 4-day tickets available, pay-per-view if you want to just pay-per-view it. I got group rates down to literally up to like $69 a night for a room. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So I hope to see you all in Vegas, July 22nd to the 24th of 2016. LeoKingEvents.com to see me out there for this, literally the coolest astrology conference you've ever been to in your life. Anyway, I hope you guys are all doing wonderful. I don't know how long that was, but they don't tell you anymore. But I will see you guys later. I'll see you on the Uncut tomorrow night or Wednesday. And there it is, baby. Don't ask. Just do it. And the best analogy I can give is when you're pleasuring somebody and you start asking, you ask after if it felt good. And you know what? Even a true master at the end of like sex doesn't even have to ask, right? Like, they should roll over and be like, that was so good. And you're like, yeah, I know. That's Mars and Scorpio with a little bit of Leo. I gotta go. Bye.